The International WorldWisdomWell.com brings you this carefully curated rare audiobook, The Wisdom Teachings from the Buddha. Chapter 1. Introduction. Buddhism, a spiritual tradition founded over 2,500 years ago by Siddhartha Gautama, who is commonly known as the Buddha, offers profound insights into the nature of existence, suffering, and the path to enlightenment. The Buddha is not a name, but a title for anyone who has awakened or reached enlightenment about the nature of existence. Rooted in compassion and wisdom, the wisdom teachings from the Buddha provide a timeless guide for individuals seeking inner peace and a deeper understanding of life. During the Axial Age, roughly around the 8th and 3rd centuries BCE, several significant philosophers and religious figures emerged in different parts of the world, each contributing to profound shifts in thought and culture. Here are some notable philosophers and religious leaders from various regions during the Axial Age. 1. Confucius was a Chinese philosopher and educator whose teachings laid the foundation for Confucianism. 2. Laozi is traditionally credited as the founder of Taoism, although historical details about his life are uncertain. 3. Zarathustra was an ancient Iranian prophet and the founder of Zoroastrianism, one of the world's oldest monotheistic religions. 4. Pythagoras was a Greek philosopher and mathematician who founded the Pythagorean school of thought. 5. Mahavira was an Indian ascetic and spiritual teacher who is considered the founder of Jainism. These, and many others, were philosophers and religious figures who played significant roles in shaping the intellectual, cultural, and spiritual landscape of their respective regions during the Axial Age, laying the foundations for enduring philosophical and religious traditions that continue to influence humanity to this day. Buddhism encompasses a diverse array of lineages and traditions that have developed over the centuries in different regions of Asia and the world as a whole. While many traditional Buddhist texts are written in languages like Sanskrit and Pali, in modern times there has been a significant interest, inquiry, and emphasis on making Buddhist teachings accessible in English and other languages. 1. Theravada Buddhism. This is one of the oldest surviving Buddhist traditions, primarily practiced in Sri Lanka, Thailand, Myanmar, Laos, and Cambodia. The Theravada tradition relies heavily on the Pali Canon, a collection of scriptures in the Pali language, which is the earliest recorded language of wisdom teachings from the Buddha. Many Theravada texts have been translated into English to make them accessible to a wider audience. 2. Mahayana Buddhism. Mahayana Buddhism encompasses a variety of schools and traditions, including Pure Land, Zen, and Tibetan Buddhism. Mahayana texts were originally composed in Sanskrit and later translated into various languages, including Tibetan, Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. In modern times, there has been a concerted effort to translate Mahayana texts into English to facilitate understanding and practice for Western practitioners. 3. Vajrayana Buddhism. Vajrayana, also known as Tantric or Esoteric Buddhism, is primarily practiced in Tibetan Buddhism and certain schools of Japanese Buddhism, such as Shingon. Vajrayana texts are often written in Sanskrit or Tibetan, and translations into English have become increasingly available, particularly for key texts on tantric practices and rituals. 4. Zen Buddhism. Zen is a form of Mahayana Buddhism that emphasizes meditation and direct realization of enlightenment. Zen texts and teachings have been translated into English, and Zen meditation practices, such as Zazen, seated meditation, and koan study, have gained popularity in the West. In modern times, there has been a growing interest in making Buddhist teachings accessible to English-speaking audiences through translations of classical texts, contemporary commentaries, and teachings from living masters. Many Buddhist organizations, monasteries, and meditation centers offer teachings, retreats, and resources in English, to support practitioners in their spiritual journey. This emphasis on English language resources reflects the global spread of Buddhism and the desire to share its profound teachings with people from diverse cultural backgrounds. This book, The Wisdom Teachings from the Buddha by the World Wisdom Well, aims to distill the essence of the Buddha's teachings in an accessible and comprehensive manner. Whether you are new to Buddhism or seeking to deepen your understanding, this book will serve as a valuable resource on your spiritual journey. Chapter 2: The Life of the Buddha. Early Life. Siddhartha Gautama's story begins in the royal splendor of the small kingdom of Kapilavastu, nestled in what is now Nepal, circa 563 BCE. Born to King Suddhodana and Queen Maya, Siddhartha enjoyed a life of opulence and privilege, shielded within the palace walls from the harsh realities of the world beyond. Yet, amidst the luxury and comfort, a seed of discontentment sprouted within the young prince, fostering a deep curiosity about the truths lying beyond his gilded existence. The Great Renunciation. At the tender age of 29, Siddhartha's destiny took a pivotal turn when he dared to venture beyond the confines of his royal abode. It was during these explorations that he encountered what became known as the Four Sights, the sight of an elderly person, a sick individual, a deceased body, and finally, a wandering ascetic. Each encounter served as a stark revelation, unraveling the veil of illusion that had shrouded Siddhartha's understanding of the world. Stirred by the poignant realities of human suffering, Siddhartha made a momentous decision. He renounced his princely heritage, forsaking the comforts of his royal lineage in pursuit of a higher truth. Enlightenment. Embarking on a profound journey of self-discovery and spiritual quest, Siddhartha immersed himself in the rigorous disciplines of asceticism and meditation, seeking illumination and release from the shackles of human suffering. Yet, after years of austere practices, he realized the futility of extreme deprivation and embraced a path of moderation, the middle way. Settling beneath the sacred Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, Siddhartha delved deep into contemplation and meditation until the radiant light of enlightenment illuminated his consciousness, transforming him into the Buddha, the awakened one. Teaching and traveling. Armed with the transformative insights gleaned from his awakening, the Buddha embarked on a tireless journey across the northeastern expanses of India, carrying the torch of his teachings, the Dharma, to all corners of society. His teachings were characterized by their pragmatic wisdom and boundless compassion, offering solace and guidance to those ensnared in the ceaseless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, the samsara. Whether delivering sermons to the masses, engaging in profound dialogues with seekers of truth, or establishing communities of monastics dedicated to preserving and propagating his teachings, the Buddha's presence left an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of countless beings, the parinirvana. As the years advanced and the sands of time ebbed away, the Buddha, now aged 80, made a solemn proclamation of his imminent departure from the mortal realm. Entering into parinirvana, the ultimate state of liberation from the cycle of rebirth, the Buddha imparted his final words of wisdom to his devoted disciples. All conditioned things are subject to decay. Strive on with diligence. With these parting words, the Buddha's earthly journey reached its culmination, leaving behind a legacy of wisdom, compassion, and enlightenment that continues to illuminate the path of countless seekers to this day. Wisdom teachings from the Buddha. The Buddha often employed numbered lists as a pedagogical tool to convey his teachings in a clear, systematic, and memorable manner. This method of organizing his teachings into lists allowed him to present complex concepts in a structured and digestible format, making them accessible to a wide range of listeners. Here are a few reasons why the Buddha may have enjoyed making numbered lists. 1. Clarity and organization. Numbered lists provide a structured framework for presenting ideas, making it easier for listeners to follow the progression of thought. By organizing his teachings into numbered lists, the Buddha ensured that his discourses were clear, concise, and logically ordered, facilitating understanding and retention. 2. Memorability. Numbered lists are inherently memorable, making it easier for listeners to recall and reflect on the teachings long after they were delivered. By framing his teachings in a numbered format, the Buddha enhanced their memorability, allowing his followers to internalize and apply the teachings in their daily lives. 3. Accessibility. The Buddha's teachings were intended for people from all walks of life, regardless of their educational background or intellectual capacity. Numbered lists provided a straightforward and accessible means of conveying complex spiritual principles in a manner that was easily understood by both lay people and monastics alike. 4. Pedagogical tool. Numbered lists served as a pedagogical tool for the Buddha to guide his listeners through the gradual unfolding of his teachings. Whether elucidating the Four Noble Truths, the Noble Eightfold Path, or the 10 grounds of the Bodhisattva path, numbered lists allowed the Buddha to present his teachings in a systematic and progressive manner, leading listeners from a place of confusion and ignorance to one of clarity and insight. Overall, the Buddha's use of numbered lists reflects his skillful means as a teacher, employing a simple yet effective technique to impart profound spiritual wisdom to his disciples. Through the use of numbered lists, the Buddha was able to distill the essence of his teachings into bite-sized nuggets of wisdom, guiding his followers on the path to liberation and enlightenment. Chapter 3. The Four Noble Truths. The core of the Buddha's teaching is encapsulated in the Four Noble Truths, which diagnose the human condition and prescribe a path towards liberation. The truth of suffering. The first truth recognizes the presence of suffering in life. Birth, aging, illness, death, and other forms of suffering are inherent aspects of existence. Even pleasurable experiences are transient and can lead to suffering when they change or end. The cause of suffering. The second truth identifies the cause of suffering as desire, attachment, and ignorance. Craving for sensual pleasures, existence, and non-existence leads to a perpetual state of dissatisfaction, the end of suffering. The third truth asserts that it is possible to end suffering by eliminating its cause. This state of cessation is known as nirvana, a profound peace and liberation from the cycle of rebirth, the path to the end of suffering. The fourth truth outlines the Noble Eightfold Path, a practical guide to ethical and mental development with the goal of freeing individuals from suffering and leading them towards enlightenment. Chapter 4. The Noble Eightfold Path. The Noble Eightfold Path is a comprehensive system of self-development, divided into 3 main categories: wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. Right understanding. Right understanding involves comprehending the nature of reality and the Four Noble Truths. It is the foundation upon which the other aspects of the path are built. Right intent. Right intent refers to the commitment to ethical and mental self-improvement. It involves cultivating positive attitudes and intentions, such as renunciation, goodwill, and harmlessness. Right speech. Right speech involves speaking truthfully, avoiding lies, slander, harsh words, and gossip. It emphasizes communication that is kind, helpful, and constructive. Right action. Right action entails behaving in ways that are ethical and harmonious. It includes refraining from killing, stealing, and engaging in sexual misconduct. Right livelihood. Right livelihood means earning a living in a way that does not cause harm to others. It encourages occupations that promote well-being and avoid those that exploit or harm living beings. Right effort. Right effort involves making a persistent effort to abandon negative states of mind and cultivate positive ones. It includes preventing unwholesome states and maintaining wholesome states. Right mindfulness. Right mindfulness is the practice of developing awareness of the body, feelings, thoughts, and phenomena. It involves being fully present and attentive to the current moment. Right concentration. Right concentration refers to developing deep states of meditative absorption. It involves focusing the mind and achieving tranquility and insight through sustained attention. Chapter 5. The Five Precepts. The five precepts are ethical guidelines and moral principles that are fundamental to Buddhist practice. They serve as a framework for leading a virtuous and ethical life, promoting harmony, compassion, and mindfulness in one's actions and relationships. The five precepts are based on wisdom teachings from the Buddha and are practiced by lay Buddhists as well as monastics. Here's a brief definition of each precept. The five precepts are ethical guidelines that lay the foundation for a moral life. They are commitments to abstain from 1. Harming living beings. This precept entails abstaining from causing harm to any living beings, including humans, animals, and insects. It emphasizes the value of non-violence and compassion towards all sentient beings. 2. Taking what is not given. This precept involves abstaining from stealing, cheating, or taking what does not rightfully belong to oneself. It promotes honesty, integrity, and respect for the property and possessions of others. 3. Sexual misconduct. This precept encourages practicing sexual considerations and refraining from engaging in sexual activities that harm oneself or others. It promotes respect for the well-being and autonomy of others. 4. False speech. This precept involves abstaining from lying, deceiving, gossiping, or speaking untruthfully. It promotes honesty, truthfulness, and integrity in speech, communication, and relationships. 5. Intoxicants that cloud the mind. This precept encourages abstaining from the consumption of alcohol, drugs, or other intoxicants that cloud the mind and lead to heedlessness, irresponsibility, and harm to oneself and others. The five precepts serve as a guide for ethical conduct and moral behavior, helping individuals to cultivate mindfulness, virtue, and compassion in their daily lives. By observing the precepts, practitioners aim to create conditions conducive to spiritual growth, happiness, and well-being for themselves and others. Chapter 6. The Three Marks of Existence. The three marks of existence are foundational concepts in wisdom teachings from the Buddha, which describe the nature of reality and the human condition. They are 1. Impermanence. This mark signifies that all phenomena, whether mental or physical, are transient and subject to change. Nothing in the world is permanent or enduring. Everything is in a state of flux. Understanding impermanence helps individuals recognize the futility of clinging to things or experiences, leading to greater acceptance of change and adaptability. 2. Suffering. Suffering refers to the inherent dissatisfaction or suffering that pervades human existence. It encompasses physical and emotional pain, as well as the unsatisfactory nature of all conditioned phenomena. According to Buddhist teachings, suffering arises from attachment, aversion, and ignorance. Recognizing the universality of suffering is the first step toward transcending it and attaining liberation. 3. Non-self. Non-self denotes the absence of a permanent, unchanging self or soul within individuals or phenomena. Instead, according to Buddhist teachings, the self is an impermanent, conditioned construct that arises due to the interplay of various factors. Understanding non-self helps individuals overcome the illusion of a fixed identity and realize the interconnectedness of all beings, leading to liberation from suffering. Together, these three marks of existence form the core teachings of Buddhism, providing insights into the nature of reality and offering a path to liberation from suffering through wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental cultivation. Chapter 7. Karma and Rebirth. Understanding karma. The English word for karma is simply karma. However, if you're looking for an equivalent concept or term in English, you might use phrases like the law of cause and effect or the principle of moral causation. These phrases convey the idea that our actions have consequences, both in this life and in future lives, based on the moral quality of those actions. Karma is a fundamental concept in Buddhism referring to the law of cause and effect. Every intentional action, whether of body, speech, or mind, produces effects that influence an individual's future. Positive actions lead to beneficial outcomes, while negative actions result in suffering. The understanding of karma encourages ethical living and mindfulness of one's actions. Types of karma. Karma is classified into 3 types. 1. Wholesome karma, actions motivated by generosity, kindness, and compassion that lead to positive outcomes. 2. Unwholesome karma, actions motivated by greed, hatred, and ignorance that lead to negative outcomes. 3. Neutral karma, actions that have neither positive nor negative consequences, such as routine activities performed without strong intention, rebirth and the cycle of birth and death, or simply the cycle of existence. This refers to the continuous cycle of birth, death, and rebirth that sentient beings experience as they wander through the realms of existence, driven by the forces of karma and desire. It encompasses the idea of cyclic existence, in which beings are subject to the ups and downs of life, characterized by suffering, impermanence, and the endless pursuit of happiness and fulfillment. Buddhism teaches that the process of rebirth is governed by the continuity of consciousness and karmic imprints. Liberation from this cycle is achieved through enlightenment, where the conditions for rebirth are extinguished. Chapter 8. Meditation. Meditation is a practice that involves training the mind to focus and redirect thoughts, often leading to a heightened state of awareness and inner calm. It encompasses a wide range of techniques and practices, each with its own objectives and methods, but they typically share some common elements. 1. Focus. Meditation often involves focusing attention on a particular object, such as the breath, a mantra, a visual image, or bodily sensations. This focus helps to anchor the mind and cultivate concentration. 2. Awareness. Through meditation, practitioners develop awareness of their thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations without judgment or attachment. This heightened awareness allows individuals to observe their experiences with clarity and insight. 3. Presence. Meditation encourages being fully present in the moment, rather than dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. By cultivating present moment awareness, individuals can experience a sense of peace and contentment. 4. Relaxation. Many forms of meditation promote relaxation and stress reduction by inducing a state of deep relaxation in the body and mind. This can have numerous physical and mental health benefits, including reduced anxiety, improved mood, and enhanced well-being. 5. Mindfulness. Mindfulness meditation involves paying deliberate, non-judgmental attention to the present moment. It is often practiced through techniques such as breath awareness, body scan, or mindful movement, and it can help individuals develop greater clarity, compassion, and resilience in the face of life's challenges. Overall, meditation is a versatile practice that can be adapted to suit individual preferences and goals, whether it's reducing stress, improving focus, fostering emotional well-being, or deepening spiritual insight. Through regular practice, individuals can cultivate greater self-awareness, inner peace, and a sense of connection with themselves and the world around them. Meditation practices. Mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation is the practice of developing deep awareness of the present moment. It involves observing thoughts, feelings, and sensations without attachment or judgment. This practice cultivates insight into the nature of reality and fosters mental clarity and tranquility. Loving kindness. Meditation. Loving kindness meditation focuses on generating feelings of goodwill and compassion towards oneself and others. Practitioners recite phrases wishing happiness, health, and peace for all beings, gradually expanding their circle of compassion. Insight meditation. Insight meditation is a practice aimed at understanding the true nature of existence. It involves observing the impermanent, unsatisfactory, and selfless nature of phenomena, leading to profound insights and eventual liberation from suffering. Walking meditation. Walking meditation involves bringing mindfulness to the act of walking. Practitioners focus on the sensations of movement in the body, the contact of the feet with the ground, and the surrounding environment. Body scan meditation. Body scan meditation is a practice of systematically scanning the body with awareness, noticing sensations, tensions, and areas of relaxation. This practice promotes relaxation, body awareness, and mindfulness. Sending and receiving meditation. A practice that involves breathing in the suffering of others and breathing out compassion and relief. It cultivates empathy, compassion, and the aspiration to alleviate the suffering of all beings. Zen meditation. Zen meditation is a form of seated meditation which involves sitting in a stable posture with a straight back, focusing on the breath, and maintaining awareness of thoughts and sensations without attachment or aversion. This practice cultivates mindfulness, concentration, and insight into the nature of mind. Mantra meditation. Mantra meditation involves the repetition of a sacred word, phrase, or sound known as a mantra. The repetition of the mantra helps to quiet the mind, induce a state of deep concentration, and connect with spiritual energies. Visualization meditation. Visualization meditation involves mentally visualizing images or scenes that evoke feelings of peace, compassion, or spiritual growth. This practice can include visualizing oneself surrounded by light, visualizing a deity or spiritual teacher, or visualizing scenes of natural beauty. Chapter 9. The Four Brahmaviharas. The Brahmaviharas, also known as the Four Divine Abodes or Abidings, or the Four Immeasurables. These are a set of four virtues or mental states emphasized in Buddhist teachings. They are loving-kindness, metta. Loving-kindness is the sincere wish for the happiness and well-being of all beings. It involves cultivating an attitude of friendliness and unconditional love towards oneself and others. Compassion, karuna. Compassion arises from recognizing the suffering of others and desiring to alleviate it. It is an empathetic response that motivates actions to help those in distress. Sympathetic joy, mudita. Sympathetic joy is the ability to feel happiness and joy in the success and well-being of others. It counters feelings of envy and promotes a sense of connectedness and shared happiness. Equanimity, upekkha. Equanimity is the cultivation of a balanced, calm, and even-minded state in the face of life's ups and downs. It involves maintaining composure and impartiality regardless of external circumstances. Chapter 10. The Middle Way. Understanding the Middle Way. The Middle Way is a central teaching in Buddhism, advocating for a balanced approach between extremes. It encourages avoiding the extremes of indulgence and asceticism and finding a balanced path of moderation and mindfulness. Balancing asceticism and indulgence. The Middle Way teaches the importance of neither indulging excessively in sensual pleasures nor denying oneself basic needs. By finding a balanced approach to life, one can cultivate contentment, inner peace, and spiritual growth, cultivating moderation in daily life. Practicing the middle way involves cultivating moderation and balance in all aspects of life, including diet, lifestyle, work, relationships, and spiritual practice. By avoiding excess and cultivating mindfulness, one can find harmony and well-being. Chapter 11. Wisdom and Compassion in Daily Life. Integrating wisdom and compassion into daily life is essential for practicing Buddhism. It involves practicing mindfulness in everyday activities, being fully present and aware in every moment, whether at work, at home, or in social interactions. Cultivating compassion towards oneself and others, developing empathy and understanding for oneself and others, and responding with kindness and compassion. Practicing generosity and kindness, engaging in acts of generosity, kindness, and service to others, fostering a sense of interconnectedness and compassion. Engaging in right livelihood, choosing occupations and livelihoods that are ethical, sustainable, and aligned with Buddhist values. Embracing impermanence and non-self, recognizing the impermanent and selfless nature of existence, and letting go of attachments and clinging. Chapter 12. Dependent Origination. Understanding dependent origination. Dependent origination is a fundamental teaching in Buddhism explaining the interdependent nature of all phenomena. It teaches that all things arise and cease dependent on causes and conditions without a fixed or permanent self. The 12 links of dependent origination. Dependent origination is often depicted as a chain of 12 interrelated links, describing the process of birth, aging, and death. These links include ignorance, volitional formations, consciousness, name and form, 6 sense bases, contact, feeling, craving, clinging, becoming, birth, and aging and death. Breaking the cycle of dependent origination. The goal of Buddhist practice is to break the cycle of dependent origination by uprooting ignorance and craving, thereby ending suffering and attaining liberation. This is achieved through the cultivation of wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. Chapter 13. The 5 Aggregates. The concept of the 5 aggregates are fundamental in understanding the nature of human existence and the causes of suffering, dukkha. These aggregates, also known as the 5 skandhas, describe the components or aspects that constitute a person's psychophysical existence. They are form. Form refers to the physical aspect of existence, including the body and the external world. It encompasses the 4 elements, earth, water, fire, and air, and the sense organs through which we perceive the world. Feeling. Feeling refers to the pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral sensations that arise in response to sensory stimuli. It is the subjective experience of pleasure, pain, or neither, arising from contact with the external world. Perception. Perception involves the recognition and interpretation of sensory stimuli. It is the mental process of identifying and categorizing objects, people, and experiences based on past conditioning and memory. Mental formations. Mental formations are the volitional activities of the mind, including thoughts, emotions, desires, and intentions. They arise in response to sensory stimuli and contribute to the formation of consciousness and the construction of personal identity. Consciousness. Consciousness is the awareness or knowing aspect of experience. It arises in dependence on the sense organs and sensory stimuli, giving rise to the subjective experience of perception, feeling, and cognition. The 5 aggregates are interrelated and constantly changing, devoid of any permanent, independent self or essence, anatta. The concept of anatta challenges the notion of a fixed, enduring self, and suggests that what we perceive as self is a conditioned and impermanent phenomenon arising from the interaction of these aggregates. Understanding the nature of the aggregates and their impermanence, insubstantiality, and interdependence is crucial for gaining insight into the true nature of reality and achieving liberation from suffering. Chapter 14. The 10 Perfections. The 10 Perfections, also known as the Paramitas in Mahayana Buddhism, are qualities or virtues that practitioners cultivate on the path to enlightenment. These perfections represent the highest moral and spiritual ideals, guiding individuals towards the realization of their full potential as bodhisattvas, beings dedicated to attaining enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. Here are the 10 perfections. Generosity, dana. The first perfection is generosity, the act of giving freely and selflessly without expecting anything in return. Practicing generosity cultivates kindness, compassion, and the willingness to share one's resources, time, and talents for the welfare of others. Ethical conduct, sila. Ethical conduct refers to living a life of moral integrity, observing ethical precepts, and abstaining from harmful actions. Practicing ethical conduct involves cultivating virtues such as honesty, compassion, and non-violence, while refraining from actions that cause harm to oneself and others. Renunciation, nekkhamma. Renunciation is the practice of letting go of attachment to worldly possessions, desires, and cravings. It involves relinquishing the grip of greed, aversion, and delusion, and cultivating contentment, simplicity, and inner peace. Wisdom, panna. Wisdom is the discerning insight into the true nature of reality, including the impermanent, unsatisfactory, and selfless nature of phenomena. It involves seeing things as they truly are, transcending ignorance, and understanding the causes of suffering and the path to liberation. Energy, virya. Energy refers to the diligent effort and perseverance exerted in the pursuit of wholesome qualities and spiritual realization. It involves overcoming laziness, apathy, and procrastination, and cultivating enthusiasm, determination, and zeal on the path to awakening. Patience, kshanti. Patience is the ability to endure hardship, adversity, and suffering with equanimity and forbearance. It involves cultivating tolerance, acceptance, and resilience in the face of life's challenges, setbacks, and difficulties. Truthfulness, sakkam. Truthfulness is the commitment to honesty, integrity, and authenticity in thought, speech, and action. It involves speaking the truth, living with integrity, and aligning one's words and deeds with one's highest values and principles. Resolve, adhithana. Resolve is the unwavering determination and firm commitment to realize one's spiritual aspirations and goals. It involves setting clear intentions, staying focused on the path, and overcoming obstacles and distractions that may arise along the way. Loving-kindness, metta. Loving-kindness is the boundless and unconditional love and compassion extended to all sentient beings. It involves cultivating a heart of goodwill, empathy, and benevolence towards oneself and others, regardless of differences or circumstances. Equanimity, upekkha. Equanimity is the balanced and impartial mind that remains steady and unshaken amidst the changing conditions of life. It involves cultivating mental resilience, acceptance, and non-reactivity, and embracing the ups and downs of experience with calmness and clarity. These 10 perfections serve as guiding principles for cultivating the qualities of an awakened being, leading practitioners towards the realization of enlightenment and the fulfillment of the Bodhisattva path. Chapter 15. The 4 Foundations of Mindfulness. Mindfulness of the body. Mindfulness of the body involves bringing awareness to the sensations, movements, and posture of the body. It includes mindfulness of breathing, walking, eating, and other physical activities, as well as the contemplation of the body's impermanence, impurity, and interconnectedness. Mindfulness of feelings. Mindfulness of feelings involves observing the pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral sensations that arise in response to sensory stimuli. It includes recognizing the impermanent and insubstantial nature of feelings and cultivating equanimity and non-attachment towards them. Mindfulness of the mind. Mindfulness of the mind involves observing the thoughts, emotions, and mental states that arise in the mind. It includes recognizing the transient and impersonal nature of mental phenomena and cultivating clarity, stability, and insight into the workings of the mind. Mindfulness of phenomena. Mindfulness of phenomena involves observing the various mental factors and objects of consciousness that arise in experience. It includes recognizing the interdependence and emptiness of phenomena and cultivating wisdom and compassion in response to them. Chapter 16. The 10 Fetters. Self-identity view. Self-identity view is the belief in a permanent, unchanging self or ego. It is the mistaken notion that there is a separate and independent entity that persists over time and across different lifetimes. This view perpetuates the illusion of a fixed and substantial self, leading to attachment, aversion, and suffering. Doubt. Doubt refers to the lack of confidence and uncertainty in wisdom teachings from the Buddha and the path to enlightenment. It includes doubts about the existence of karma, rebirth, and the efficacy of spiritual practice. Doubt obstructs progress on the path by undermining faith and commitment. Clinging to rites and rituals. Clinging to rites and rituals involves the mistaken belief that external observances, ceremonies, and rituals can purify the mind and lead to liberation. It includes attachment to religious practices, superstitious rituals, and external forms of piety without cultivating inner transformation and understanding. Sensual desire. Sensual desire is the craving for pleasure and gratification through the senses. It includes attachment to sensory pleasures such as food, sex, entertainment, and sensory experiences, which distract the mind and perpetuate the cycle of craving and dissatisfaction. Ill will. Ill will refers to the mental states of anger, hatred, resentment, and aversion towards oneself and others. It includes thoughts of retaliation, revenge, and harm towards those who have caused suffering or frustration. Ill will poisons the mind and perpetuates conflicts and suffering in relationships. Lust for material existence. Lust for material existence is the craving for worldly wealth, possessions, and status. It includes attachment to material comforts, wealth, power, and success, which bind individuals to the cycle of birth and rebirth and perpetuate the illusion of a separate self. Lust for immaterial existence. Lust for immaterial existence is the craving for spiritual attainments, states of absorption, and transcendental experiences. It includes attachment to states of bliss, ecstasy, and enlightenment, which can become obstacles on the path to liberation if clung to and identified with. Conceit. Conceit is the sense of superiority, inferiority, or equality in comparison to others. It includes feelings of pride, arrogance, and self-importance, which arise from identifying with one's perceived qualities, achievements, or social status. Restlessness. Restlessness is the agitated and unsettled state of mind characterized by mental agitation, distraction, and inability to concentrate. It includes the tendency to chase after external distractions, seek constant stimulation, and avoid facing inner discomfort and uncertainty. Ignorance. Ignorance is the fundamental root cause of suffering and the source of all defilements. It is the lack of understanding of the true nature of reality, including the Four Noble Truths, the Three Marks of Existence, and the law of karma. Ignorance perpetuates the cycle of rebirth and binds beings to the cycle of suffering. Chapter 17. The Four Jhanas. The English term for jhanas is simply jhanas. However, if you're looking for an equivalent concept or phrase in English, you might use stages of meditative absorption or levels of deep concentration. These terms convey the idea of progressively deeper states of meditative absorption and concentration experienced in Buddhist meditation practices. Here's a brief overview of each. First jhana. In the first jhana, the meditator experiences a deep sense of joy and happiness, along with physical and mental tranquility. The mind becomes unified and focused on a single object of meditation, such as the breath, and distractions are temporarily set aside. The meditator may also experience a sense of bliss and pleasure, which arises from the deep concentration and absorption in the present moment. Second jhana. In the second jhana, the initial joy and happiness deepen, and a sense of inner contentment and equanimity arises. The meditator experiences a profound sense of tranquility and bliss, free from the coarser aspects of sensory desire and aversion. The mind becomes even more unified and absorbed in the object of meditation, leading to a deeper level of concentration and absorption. Third jhana. In the third jhana, the meditator experiences a further refinement of mental states, characterized by the fading away of joy and happiness and the arising of a sublime sense of equanimity and mindfulness. The meditator enters into a state of profound peace and stillness, free from the fluctuations of pleasure and pain, and completely absorbed in the present moment. Fourth jhana. In the fourth jhana, the meditator experiences the highest level of concentration and absorption, characterized by a state of pure equanimity and mindfulness. The meditator remains completely detached from sensory experience, with neither pleasure nor pain arising in the mind. Instead, there is a profound sense of tranquility, clarity, and inner peace, as the mind becomes fully absorbed in the object of meditation. The jhanas are considered to be stages of deepening meditative absorption, leading to greater insight and understanding of the nature of reality. They are an integral part of the path to liberation and enlightenment in Buddhism, as they help to purify the mind, cultivate positive mental qualities, and develop deep states of concentration and mindfulness. Chapter 18. The 10 Grounds of Bodhisattva Path. The Bodhisattva path is a central concept in Mahayana Buddhism, representing the altruistic aspiration to attain enlightenment, Bodhi, for the benefit of all sentient beings. Bodhisattvas are beings who have committed themselves to this path of compassion, wisdom, and altruism, forgoing their own liberation until all beings are liberated from suffering. The 10 grounds of the Bodhisattva path are 10 stages of spiritual development. Each ground represents a progressively deeper level of realization, wisdom, and compassion. Here's a brief definition of each ground. Joyful. The first ground of the Bodhisattva path is characterized by a deep sense of joy and enthusiasm for the spiritual journey. Bodhisattvas experience joy in practicing generosity, ethical conduct, and cultivating wisdom and compassion. Stainless. The second ground is characterized by the purification of the mind and the elimination of defilements. Bodhisattvas develop purity of mind, speech, and action, free from greed, hatred, and delusion. Luminous. The third ground is characterized by the radiant light of wisdom and insight. Bodhisattvas develop clarity of vision, penetrating insight, and the ability to dispel ignorance and confusion. Radiant. The fourth ground is characterized by the radiant glow of loving kindness and compassion. Bodhisattvas emanate boundless love and compassion towards all beings, illuminating the path to liberation for others. Very hard to train. The fifth ground is characterized by the unwavering determination and commitment to the path of awakening. Bodhisattvas overcome all obstacles and challenges with steadfast resolve and perseverance, clearly knowing. The sixth ground is characterized by clear knowing and insight into the nature of reality. Bodhisattvas develop profound wisdom, understanding the interconnectedness and emptiness of all phenomena. Far-going. The seventh ground is characterized by the far-reaching scope of the bodhisattva's activities. Bodhisattvas traverse the vast expanse of samsara, guiding beings to liberation and enlightenment. Immovable or unshakable. The eighth ground is characterized by the unwavering stability and steadfastness of the bodhisattva's mind. Bodhisattvas remain unshaken by the winds of desire, aversion, and delusion, rooted in equanimity and non-attachment. Good discrimination. The ninth ground is characterized by skillful discrimination and discernment. Bodhisattvas possess the ability to distinguish between wholesome and unwholesome qualities, skillfully guiding beings towards liberation and happiness. Cloud of Dharma. The 10th ground is characterized by the vast and boundless wisdom of the Bodhisattva. Bodhisattvas embody the teachings of the Dharma like a great cloud, raining down the nectar of wisdom and compassion, nurturing the growth of beings on the path to enlightenment. Chapter 19. The Three Jewels, Three Refugees, or Triple Gem. In the vast expanse of Buddhist teachings, there exists a profound and enduring refuge known as the Three Jewels. These jewels, revered by practitioners across traditions and generations, serve as guiding lights, illuminating the path to liberation and enlightenment. Let us delve into the essence of these sacred jewels. The Buddha. The first jewel is the Buddha, the awakened one, whose teachings offer a beacon of wisdom and compassion in the sea of samsara. Siddhartha Gautama, the historical Buddha, discovered the path to enlightenment over 2,500 years ago, and his profound insights into the nature of existence continue to inspire seekers of truth to this day. Taking refuge in the Buddha means honoring his example, embodying his teachings, and cultivating the qualities of wisdom, compassion, and mindfulness in our own lives. The Dharma. The second jewel is the Dharma, the teachings of the Buddha that illuminate the path to liberation from suffering. The Dharma encompasses the vast body of wisdom contained in the suttas, sutras, and other canonical texts, as well as the living teachings passed down through generations of enlightened masters and practitioners. Taking refuge in the Dharma involves studying, understanding, and practicing the teachings to cultivate insight, virtue, and inner peace. It is through the diligent application of the Dharma that we uncover the causes of suffering, uproot ignorance, and realize the boundless potential for awakening within ourselves. The Sangha. The third jewel is the Sangha, the community of noble beings who support and inspire one another on the path to enlightenment. The Sangha includes not only ordained monastics, but also lay practitioners who have dedicated themselves to the pursuit of awakening. Taking refuge in the Sangha means seeking the guidance and companionship of spiritual friends, cultivating virtuous friendships, and actively participating in communities dedicated to the practice of the Dharma. By drawing strength from the collective wisdom and compassion of the Sangha, we find solace, support, and encouragement on our spiritual journey. The three jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, stand as timeless symbols of refuge and inspiration in the heart of Buddhism. As we navigate the ups and downs of existence, may we take shelter in these precious jewels, drawing upon their wisdom, guidance, and compassion to awaken to the true nature of reality and find liberation from suffering. Conclusion. Wisdom Teachings from the Buddha offers a thoughtful overview of the foundational teachings of Buddhism, providing practical guidance for living a life of wisdom, compassion, and liberation. By following the Noble Eightfold Path, cultivating mindfulness and loving kindness, and embodying the qualities of a bodhisattva, individuals can free themselves from suffering and contribute to the welfare and happiness of all beings. Wisdom teachings from the Buddha serves as a comprehensive guide to understanding and practicing the profound teachings of Buddhism. By following the path laid out by Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, individuals can cultivate wisdom, compassion, and inner peace, ultimately realizing the goal of liberation and enlightenment. Thank you for spending time here at the World Wisdom Well and learning from Wisdom Teachings from the Buddha. We hope you enjoyed learning from this audiobook and use it to reference and refresh time and time again. Thank you for receiving our gift of the heart. Please share this resource with those who may benefit from it. May we all be happy. May we all be well. May we all embody the wisdom teachings from the Buddha to enhance our inner worlds and the worlds of others, while creating a more peaceful world for our human family and the longevity of our species.